Are we live?
Yes.
It's going to be a very difficult show for me to pull over. George,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes.
January 3rd, 2010, straight from the Kevin's Casa.
Yes. First show of 2010. I'm going to try to wake up people. Please bear with me. A lot of drinking last night.
I got all my drinking out of me for the year on
and
New
my
Year's.
brain doesn't function after these type of things. Anyway, what are we going to start out with? UFC 108.
Yeah, but mainly MMA news. Not
Right.
much, not a whole lot to talk about after UFC 108. The big news coming out of 108 is Paul Daly won impressively, which lines him up to fight Fitch or Koscheck. But
Right.
he also says he'd be willing to fight Thiago Alves to
Right.
show more of a stand-up.
What do you think about this
I was
kid
going to say,
Daly?
you being a fan, who would you rather see Daly fight? Fitch, Koscheck, or Thiago Alves?
Fitch.
I want to see him fight Koscheck.
Yeah. Well, that would be a good fight. I mean, under
'Cause
any circumstances, that would be a good fight.
Daly says he has good takedown defense, and he has a good ground game. He just hasn't shown it because everyone wants to stand with him.
Right.
I don't know why.
Why does everyone want to stand with that guy?
To try to knock him out and prove something. That motherfucker hit that Hasidic Jew-looking cat last night.
The
with
what?
Haslet, man. He got the whole thing. He looks like an Hasidic Jew. Boom! He caught that man with a left hand, like a left. He hit him with his left wrist.
Oh God, I hope
just
it's politically
crushed
correct.
him.
Yeah.
But the other big news coming out of there last night is Rashad Evans.
Yeah.
Back to his old tricks. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to take you down, get my points, we're going to stand back up. I'm
It
gonna
was
throw
like GSP.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a few more punches, and I'm going to take you down
I
again.
can't stand that shit though. It's so boring. It makes it for such a boring fight.
And you know what? I was asking everyone at the bar. I was like, no offense to Rashad Evans.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
blame
he
you know
fights
what?
to win. I mean,
right.
he
The way the
fights-
system's set up, take advantage of it and do what you're doing.
Right.
I'm not hating, but I'm not going to pay to watch you fight, and unless I'll watch you get knocked out by Rampage.
Right.
But me personally, like I've told Kevin, I don't think he's going to knock.
What do you
Rampage.
think's
I
going
don't
to
think
happen?
Rampage
Because
is
now,
gonna knock him out.
you know.
No.
Okay. Now, what do you think? So, what this is going to do is this is obviously going to set up probably a mate bout between him and Rampage. What do you think about that fight? What do you think the outcome? Everybody out there, we want to see who the fuck do you think is going to win between Rampage and Rashad?
I hope
Because this is going to happen and materialize probably by May.
I hope they stand up and go toe to toe.
So do I.
I really do. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Rashad's going to try to take him down. If he gets his takedown stuffed, which I hope, then I hope
I think he's going to
have.
have it. It's going to be very difficult. I think for him to beat Rampage, you got to do like with Forrest. You got to hit him with leg kicks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a problem taking Rampage down. He might get caught.
We shall see.
We shall see. What else about MMA?
The next big news is the UFC finally signed Takanori Gomi. For you guys who don't
Say
know,
that fast 3 times.
Takanori Gomi. He's a 31-5 fighter. The majority, actually, all of his fights have come in Japan. The big thing is when he leaves Japan, he loses. That's what's being
Godzilla?
said. I think he did get Hello
Choke
Kitty in an armbar. Took her out. But it looks like he's going to fight Kenny Florian. Now, my question is how many fights does Gomi have to win before he fights BJ Penn?
I'd say 3.
Really?
Mhm.
I say 1.
You think so?
Yes, because if he beats Kenny Florian, he's gonna. Well, look, Kenny Florian's last fight was against BJ Penn.
Yeah, that's true.
So my thing is you might as well get Takanori Gomi in there now while he still has some draw, but he has to win and win convincingly versus Kenny
Right,
Florian.
to get it. So you're thinking like after one big fight, he could actually have a title matchup.
That's me.
Yeah.
If I'm Dana, if he beats Kenny Florian, he goes his next fight to BJ Penn.
Now, what's all this shit about GSP saying, fuck it, I'm going to vacate the 170?
GSP wants to fight for Canada, and when I say
Canada.
fight, he wants to wrestle.
Yes.
GSP said, you know what, you can keep the 170-pound belt. If I have to vacate it, that's fine. He's like, I want to wrestle for Canada.
I think that's a cool move.
I hope GSP understands by saying that you are subjecting yourself to Olympic drug testing standards.
Right.
Random, any time of the day, any time of the night, any place.
Anyway, go
They
ahead.
will go get you and test you. I hope he understands that. I'm not saying anything, but I just know the drug testing rules in the UFC are a little bit different than
Olympic style
Olympics.
wrestling is fucking nuts. I mean drug testing. But the thing is that if any of these guys are doing GH, which a lot of them tend to do, they don't have a test for that yet.
Oh, I had somebody argue with me the other day. That
About
they do.
what?
That they have a test for GH. And I'm like, no, they don't.
Is he fucking from this? Is he just?
No,
Is
he's
he
just
a fucking retard?
talking out of here.
Yeah, it's out of his neck. Seriously. Now,
That's the
moving on
big
to,
MMA news.
Yeah. Now moving on to other people that were locked up or choked out or in closets. that would be, what was the kid's name? I don't even remember because that wasn't even important who the kid. Oh, it's James' son.
It's Craig James' son.
Yeah. Now Leach just came straight out. Obviously, you guys heard all last week. The big news was fucking Leach got fired from Texas Tech because he put this kid who had a concussion and had, and Georgia showed me pictures of. We're trying to do a show, and Georgia showed me pictures of puppies and fucking kids.
It's cute. It's my wallpaper.
Oh, okay.
It just rotates. Anyway, what it turns out is Leach is saying one thing, a trainer saying another, this trainer saying something, somebody else is saying something. Graham Harrell wrote a 2-page note on how much of a bitch Craig James' son really is.
And, a lot of people, Leach came straight out and said, he was like, look, man, the guy got special treatment. He was a bitch. Fucking Craig James was constantly meddling, and they were like, well, how's he meddling? They're like, well, he would show up, call his position coaches and this and that and stuff like that. So that didn't seem like the kid was getting special treatment. I'm going to tell you what, if I was the coach, I would stuck him in the closet too, and I'd been fired. but I mean,
like
that was just getting aggravating, huh?
Like that R. Kelly song.
Go ahead, sing it for me.
Oh, I don't know the words. I don't like R. Kelly.
Huh?
I was peeing on you.
R. Kelly is foul. Anyway, we went from fucking Craig James' son to R. Kelly. Anyway, what's the next subject?
Probably Gilbert Arenas.
What's wrong with that gun-toting fool,
Dude,
shorty? Wild, wild west. I mean, Gilbert Arenas, what are you doing, man?
Here's the thing. You're getting paid $18 million a year and you can't pay up on a card debt? So him and this player are flying back. They're playing cards. They get into an argument over the money that Gil owes him. They land. They continue to argue throughout that day. They wrap it around to the next day, and supposedly, not supposedly, that's not a word. Supposedly. Yeah, that's not a word.
Right.
Supposedly, Gilbert Arenas takes 3 guns, puts them on a stool right next to Homeboy's locker. It says, you pick. He goes, nah, I got my own. Now, there's another story out saying they were just trying to compare who had the biggest gun. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense to any... Does that even sound logical?
I don't know how... Let me tell you something. People, this whole situation with everything that went down in New York with Plaxico. Why you always touch me?
Because you got fuzz all over you, like you've been rolling around on the carpet, dirty nigga.
You're catching feelings, man. You see this shit, man?
On
tape, we got it.
How am I catching feelings? I'm trying to help him and Fuzzy head out, man.
I know, I got all this stuff. Oh, shit. Anyway, people think that the situation that happened in New York with Plaxico Burst is bad. DC gun laws are fucking crazy.
And they just got it passed to where you can actually have a gun. These guys are keeping guns in their lockers at the arena.
Yeah.
For what?
I mean, you can't, in DC, if you have a concealed weapon, that's it. Bye-bye. I mean, you can have a pound of weed under your seat and they'll be like this. Oh, go ahead. You'll be out that day. Probably $50 bail. But if you have a concealed weapon or a gun in DC, in Washington, D.C., you are done.
Ask Lonnie Baxter.
Yes. And you know what? The Wizards have enough problems besides this. You know what? If I was this, I would look at this as a perfect opportunity.
I'm not even playing with you. Yeah. I would cut your ass in a heartbeat. This team changed its name from the Bullets, to the Wizards to try to get away from gun violence and things like that.
Because Abe Poland's best friend was shot down. He was the prime minister of Israel or whatever. I'm dead serious. I'm serious. Abe Poland's good friend, who was like the prime minister or something. You think I'm joking? Read that shit, man. This is probably on Wikipedia. But no, he just...
Rory Goldsmith.
No, man. His good friend was assassinated. And
Sal Silverstein.
Come on, man.
Tony Baloney.
There's a Hebrew theme to our show today.
Wow.
Hebrew National. Anyway, yeah, and that's what prompted him to change the name from the Bullets. I liked when they were the Bullets, because when they were the Bullets, they won games.
Because people were probably scared.
Right.
Wes Unseld.
But anyway, getting off the subject.
Crazy right now here in the lovely DC. The Caps are on a bit of a skid, which is not good.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can right that ship. But they don't do well when they go out to the West Coast. They were showing what they do against. I mean, they got housed by San Jose. Right. They lost yesterday to the Kings. I mean, they don't do too well out in West Coast. But they'll be fine once they come back.
Speaking of somebody else that didn't do too well, I know Cincinnati didn't have a coach, but wow.
Ouch.
I mean, I see. This is why
Tim Tebow, quarterback.
What about him?
He threw for 400 yards, 450 yards
against you, me, and 9 other motherfuckers.
I'm just saying.
Tim Tebow is not going as a quarterback. He could be an H-back or whatever, like Chris Cooley or something shit like that, or maybe get with some system like the Wildcat where they can directly snap to him. But no, fucks no. That shit is not happening. No.
They don't want to give this man any credit.
I mean, he's a great football player. Don't get me wrong.
And you know what? Here's the other thing. We're sitting at the bar last night.
Right.
And somebody two people you brought who are male,
Right.
not trail, were telling me how great of a quarterback Graham Harrell is. Can anyone tell me where Graham Harrell is? Because I think he's up in Toronto playing for the Argonauts, and he shovels snow at the half.
Argonauts. Wasn't there a movie called Jason and the Argonauts?
Probably. But, I mean, you can be a great quarterback. I mean, he's
Right.
just... We'll see.
Yeah.
I want Tebow to do well in the pros just to prove everyone wrong. But here,
Yeah.
if he doesn't, he'll just go be a minister.
I want Eric Crouch to do well in the
Eric,
pros too.
what's wrong with your Crouch?
No, he was quarterback for Nebraska. Incredible running quarterback.
Running quarterback.
Right.
He can throw.
No, he couldn't throw a shit.
Like I said, look, Tebow needs to show up to the combine throwing like this. 80 yards with both hands if he's going to be considered to be a quarterback.
Oh, well, guys, that wraps it up. I'm gonna go upstairs and take a nap.
Yeah, Kevin literally is working on like 22 minutes of sleep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bye.
Later.